Why we need to prepare SOW document? Prasad, Devi, Gangadhar, Jyoti.
Responsibilities of between server and I mean client
Project
and
manager and client. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And in that, what we will consider? What are the different elements we can consider? Like main things. We can include time, deliverable times, and delivery schedule when it will be happens. And we need to,
Timelines.
we need to include the acceptance criteria and how many days this particular project will be complete. How many resources we need.
Mode
All
of
this.
payments,
Payment
contracts,
Correct.
method.
Correct.
location.
Yeah, and it is a contract based or it is a permanent or if it a fixed bid or retainer.
Bande.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone, please be on mute. Getting lot of noise. Okay. And what is the purpose of NFR? Why we need to do NFR, like non-functional requirements document? Why we need to prepare and that what it
For
contains?
business analysis purpose.
Okay. And what are the elements it has? Like what we need to include in that NFR document?
Well, business transaction,
Critical
peak
business
hours,
transactions,
peak hours,
Peak hour.
expected
Okay.
average response
number
time,
of users,
Uh,
number of
okay.
transaction per hour,
Okay. Mm,
types of testing, hardware
mm,
tissue
types
statistics
of testing.
like
mm.
CPU memory.
Okay. Okay. Mm. And what are the critical business transactions or critical business scenario?
Regularly used actions or transactions, those
Oh,
are called the critical business transactions.
okay. How to
Mm.
identify this is critical or this is not critical?
Peak business scenarios.
Based
During
on
peak
the
hour.
criticality. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Mm.
Number of users.
Where
Okay.
the more number of users access that is a critical business
Correct.
scenario.
Correct. Correct. Okay. And any examples for business critical scenario?
Yes. In banking application law, it means transaction like
Okay. Mm-hmm.
login,
Mm-hmm.
fund.
Fund
Yeah.
transfer, yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Good. Okay. So, what is transaction? Anyone
Group
can
of actions or request.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Action between two people.
SLA? What is SLA?
It's an agreement between the client
Hmm.
and the product owner.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. Okay. And how to identify the peak numbers? How, which tools we will use? Like how to identify that?
I think controller.
No.
I think
APM
application team will
tools.
give
Splunk.
the
Yesterday I told you, right?
yes,
Using
Splunk
Splunk tool.
tools. Yes.
Yes. We can get the peak number of data. If possible, I am trying to set up in Splunk. If possible, before going to executing any load test, at that time we need all the detailed information, right? So we are practically getting the number of users. Okay. So there I will show you how to use the Splunk if possible, if every configuration went well. Okay.
Okay.
And um, how do you identify this particular scenario was not in the SLA? How do you identify this particular business? I mean, this particular transaction is not in the SLA. Simple, right? Our SLA is 5 seconds. If it was more than 5 seconds, then it is not within the SLA, correct? Okay, this point you have to remember because this is one of the good interview question about this SLA.
అర్థం కాలేదండి.
ఓకే, అంటే SLAను మీట్ అవ్వట్లేదు అంటే ఏంటి? The values are not meeting the SLA means what? For example, the client goal was 5 seconds, but we are getting response times 7 seconds, 8 seconds, like that. So that is called not meeting the SLA. If it meets the SLA means the response times was less than 5 seconds. If it not meeting the SLA means the response times was greater than 5 seconds. Yesterday I have showed you with example. I think you people not followed that one. See here.
CPU and memory example you have taken yesterday for this question.
No. It was completely different again. CPU, memory, these things are related to bottleneck. Okay. So SLA means the agreement between the product owner and the client, right? For example,
Yeah.
the client told like my SLA was 5 seconds. Okay. For example, you have executed some load test, stress test, or endurance test, whatever it may be. Okay. If the client, if whoever the employee will executing the particular load test or stress endurance, any test, okay, they will try to analyze the results, right? At the time, he has to understand, okay, if all the response times are less than 5 seconds, or if all the response times was greater than 5 seconds. If all the response times are less than 5 seconds, then we can call it as a within the SLA. Sorry. Okay, all the response times was less than 5 seconds, then that is called the within the SLA. If all the response times was greater than 5 seconds, okay, like it was 7 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it may be, we can call it as a not meeting the
Bottleneck.
SLA. We can call it as a bottleneck issue, or we can also say like
Not
not
meeting it.
meeting the SLA. Yeah,
Okay.
correct. So
Yeah.
if it was more than expected time, then we need to check where it was taking more, which particular method or which particular database area or which particular service it's taking more
Okay.
time. Yeah, that is the about SLA. Okay, today class is about one of the three most commonly asking interview questions. Okay, these three are the top interview questions about NFR. Okay, your interviewer will ask you like, what is your approach of gathering non-functional requirements if client doesn't know anything about performance testing? Okay, client doesn't know anything about performance testing, but he has to understand how we need to provide the approach to the client. At the time, what we will do is just we need to get the production logs, as I said yesterday, right? We need to get the production logs of last 1 year, or last 6 months, or last 3 months, anything is fine. 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year, we can take all the last year data, and by using the Splunk tool or site analytic tool, whatever it may be, we can take that and we can try to identify the top 5 usage days. Okay, yesterday I have shown you an example here, right?
Vidya, what you said, Splunk tool and one more?
Splunk tool is a log monitoring tool. Log
monitoring tool.
Yes. Okay. So using that particular Splunk tool, okay, what we have to do is here only 1 day data we have collected, right? Yesterday I explained. Each hour data I have collected. Like this, we need to collect the 1 year data. Okay. Whole 1 year, at which particular time the usage is high. For example, in month of February and in the time of afternoons, you have observed that they are using 500 users. That is the peak number. Based on that, you can collect that Okay, 5 usage days. For example, I have taken only for 1 day, right? Like this, you have to take it 4 days or 5 days data, and in that 5 days data, you have to observe mostly which particular timings they are using. For example, afternoon time or morning time or evening time, and what is the load. Okay, how much load at that particular point of time. We need to get that numbers, and we can start uh, taking that as a our test load, like number of users we need to running the test. Okay,
Whether if it's a new application, if they don't
I
have
will
any
tell.
historical data.
I will tell. In coming slide, I will explain that only. Okay, first of all, I will cover if the application is already in production. Okay, first I would like to cover this point, and then I will go to new brand application also. I will explain. Okay, so if it was a already in production, right, that the reason we are preferring like using Splunk to roll any some other site analytical tools. We need to get 1 year, 6 months. Not only 1 year is mandatory. Okay, you can take 3 months, 6 months, anything is fine. And we need to try to identify the 5 days, how many number of users are, or how many visitors are hitting or um, using that particular application. Okay, you mean at the same time we need to get that particular number, and based on that we can also identify which regions those users are using. For example, we can take Flipkart, right? Flipkart was using by different regions, US and India, and different regions Flipkart is using, right? Like that, in which regions the users usage was more. Those things we need to identify first. And second thing was based on the users. Okay, based on the users, we need to identify the number of transactions. These transaction numbers also we can get it from Splunk only. Okay, Splunk is most popular log monitoring tool. So almost 80 to 70% of the companies are following the Splunk to see the log monitoring tools. If there is no log monitoring tool is available in our organization, what we need to do is we need to ask our developer or dev team to give this particular logs. We need 1 year logs, or we need 6 months logs, like that. Okay, from that we can get the transactions. Same way, yesterday I have explained that based on the hour we can get the number of users and transactions, right? Like that, every day we need to get the number of users, peak number of users in a whole year, and peak number of transactions in whole year. Like that, we need to get the transactions. And based on the transactions, we can also identify like I mean which particular IP address. Based on the IP address only, right, we can identify the region. Based on the particular IP address, we need to identify the location or the region, and based on that we will design the scenario and we can run the test execution. What is log means? For example, what I can say, yeah, I am going to, for example, I have searched as Flipkart.com. Okay, so when I click on this Flipkart.com, okay, some background information like is there any issues, it was passing correctly or not, everything. For example, you have written something like that, if user was logged in. Okay, if user was logged in, once you enter username and password, if you click on login, what will happen? If you are entered correct username password, then only the page will log in. If you entered wrong password or your wrong username, or if you miss any single word, mistake, wrong, then immediately what it will shows, please your invalid details or your username password was not correct, right? It will displace, right? Those particular things we can call it as a log. Is there any errors while running the test, or is there any errors while a particular user is login and buying that application, that particular product? At the time, is there any error will happen? All those things information will be stored in some particular area. That is called as a log. Clear? Money? Okay.
Can we call it as a file?
Sorry?
No,
Log file.
only login if I get into any application, if we log in, that is only the log file or any
No.
request
In
going to
every,
request.
in every each and every click, is there any error or is there any, for example, you have after logged in, you have clicked on one particular product, okay? You are able to see in that particular product and you are able to buy. But even sometimes if you click on correct one, back end, some connection miscommunication or something will happen definitely. So those things will be stored in that log, so that what developers will do is they will check the log and they will easily identify the issues where this particular issue is getting, where they are writing the code, right? At the time of writing the code, what they will do is they will give some checkpoints, something like that. If they are login fine, if they will entered wrong details, then we can see this particular error. That type of information will be stored in the particular file that is called as a log file.
Vidya,
Yes,
I have one doubt.
Every action they will record there, for every action we'll
correct,
get in one log.
correct, correct.
Okay,
Definitely,
good.
each and every click. Yes, someone is asking another question.
భవాని
Bhavani.
విద్య ఇప్పుడు ఎర్రర్స్ అంటే ఇలాంటివి మనం ఏం కండక్ట్ చేయం కదా, అంటే బిజినెస్ క్రిటికల్ సినారియోస్ మాత్రమే కదా మనం టెస్ట్ కండక్ట్ చేసేది.
బిజినెస్ క్రిటికల్ సినారియోస్ లోనే, ఓకే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక 100 యూజర్స్ లాగిన్ అయ్యారు అనుకో భవాని, ఆ 100 యూజర్స్ లాగిన్ అయినప్పుడు ఏదైనా ఎర్రర్స్ వచ్చినా, ఇప్పుడు సిపియు ఎక్కువైపోయిందని మనకు తెలీదు, మనకు అర్థం కాదు, మనకు చూపించేది ఏంటి 500 ఎర్రర్ అంతే. ఓకే, ఆ 500 ఎర్రర్ డిస్ప్లే అయ్యేలాగా డెవలపర్స్ మనకు కోడ్ రాస్తారు అంతే. కానీ ఆ 500 ఎర్రర్ ఎందుకు వచ్చింది అవన్నీ కూడా మనకు లాగ్ లో ఉంటాయి. అంటే యూజర్స్ ఎక్కువయ్యారా, ఎన్ని యూజర్స్ ఎక్కువయ్యారు, లేదంటే యూజర్స్ వెయిటింగ్ లో ఉన్నారా, లేదంటే ఏ స్టేట్ లో ఉన్నారు, ఆ డెప్త్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా కూడా లాగ్ లో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది.
అంటే దాంతో మనం ఏం చేస్తాం విద్య, అంటే ఆ
అంటే
ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్
ఎక్కడ ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది అనేది మనకు తెలుస్తుంది కదా. ఓకే, ఎక్కడ ఇష్యూ, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నువ్వు ఈరోజు ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్ అనే అప్లికేషన్ కి 500 యూజర్స్ లాగిన్ అయ్యారు. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు వాడు గనక లాగ్ పెట్టుకోలేదు అనుకోండి, ఎన్ని యూజర్స్ లాగిన్ అయ్యాడో ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది, తెలియదు కదా. తెలీదు. సో వాళ్ళు కోడ్ రాసేటప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తారంటే, యూజర్ లాగిన్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అంతా ఇక్కడ స్టోర్ అవ్వాలి. ఓకే, లాగిన్ అయ్యాక ఏమేం ప్రోడక్ట్స్ కొన్నారు, ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్రోడక్ట్ మొబైల్ అనేది కొన్నారనుకోండి, ఆ మొబైల్స్ అయిపోయాయా లేదా ఎలా తెలుస్తుంది, వాడు ఆ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఒక దగ్గర స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటేనే కదా. ఇన్ని మొబైల్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఇన్ని అయిపోయాయి, ఇంకా ఇంత స్టాక్ తీసుకురావాలని తెలిసేది. అట్లా వాళ్ళు ఎప్పటికప్పుడు ఫైల్లో స్టోర్ చేసుకుంటూ ఉంటారు ఎవ్రీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్.
అంటే ఇక్కడ ఒక యూజర్ ఒక్క యాక్షన్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఒక లాగ్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది, లేకపోతే ఒకటే యూజర్ ఎన్ని యాక్షన్స్ చేసినా ఒకటే లాగ్ క్రియేట్ అవుతుంది?
అన్ని యూజర్స్ అన్ని ఒకే దగ్గర స్టోర్ అవుతాయండి. ఆల్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ విల్ బి స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ ఓన్లీ సింగిల్ లాగ్ ఫైల్. ఇప్పుడు మీకు కనుక ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక టైం పీరియడ్ ఇస్తారు, ఓకే, డెవలపర్ కి ఐ నీడ్ లాగ్ ఫైల్ ఫర్ లాస్ట్ 1 year అంటారు. ఓకే, ఆ 1 year లో ఎంత మంది యూస్ చేశారో, ఎంత మంది ఎన్ని క్లిక్స్ చేశారు, ఎక్కడ ఇష్యూస్ వచ్చినాయి, మొత్తం ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ అందులో ఉంటుంది. ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్.
Basically, will track the every action of every user.
Yes, correct.
So Vidya, the by default అవ్వదన్నమాట.
No.
కోడ్ రాసేటప్పుడు they will be doing it manually.
వాళ్ళు రాస్తారు. కరెక్ట్.
log.
ఎస్, కరెక్ట్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చూద్దాము. ఇప్పుడు JMeter అనే అప్లికేషన్ ఉంది. ఓకే, ఐ విల్ షో యూ ఇఫ్ పాసిబుల్. JMeter కనుక వస్తే లెట్ మీ షో యూ. JMeter కూడా మనకు లాగ్ ఉంటుంది, మన స్క్రిప్ట్ కరెక్ట్ గా రికార్డ్ అయిందా లేదా, వీ కెన్ చెక్ దేర్. ఎవ్రీ ఫైల్ హ్యాస్ లాగ్స్. Definitely somewhere we have log for this JMeter also. సో ఆ లాగ్ ఫైల్ లో ఏంటంటే మనకు JMeter కనెక్ట్ అయిందా లేదా అన్ని కూడా తెలుసుకోవచ్చు.
Okay.
Somewhere it should has, if possible ఏదైనా అప్లికేషన్ ఉంటే I will show you where the log file will exist. ఓకే,
బిన్లోనే ఉంటది కదా.
బిన్ లో
బిన్
లేదండి. నో నో నో, బిన్ లో లేదు. I have verified log. No. Yeah, I think this log 4J2, I think. Let me check. This is for common, I think. No, not this is the correct one. We'll have every particular. ఇప్పుడు మీరు even if you run that any load runner script also, that log will be available. Okay, you can check. Okay, this was connected, and after connected, script was executed. After script executed, this steps is came like that. Everywhere we definitely will have log files.
వేర్ LoadRunner లో ఎక్కడ చూసుకోవాలి విద్య?
Every script లో ఉంటుంది. Script లో you can open any one script and you can check, I think.
Oh.
Let me show you if it was available or not. See, log file. Just you can open the log file and you can see. Okay, I got this particular error, unrecognized declaration. Okay, so not writing this particular thing. Like this we can get the logs. Each and every application or whatever it may be, definitely log file will be available. Let me check another log file. Here it was not there. Definitely each and every script will has log file. See here, if no errors will be there, here nothing will shows, because the developers while implementing the load runner itself, they designed like that. If any error will come, definitely it will show. In load runner we can call it as a output log simply. Okay, in JMeter also we are having that log files. I will show you while explaining about load runner and JMeter. Okay, and next one. Okay, in this particular, if the application is already in production, then we do not have any, I mean SLA, all these things also we can get it from the baseline test, because there is no SLA. Even the application is in production, but the client is don't know about anything about the performance testing, right? That is the reason. Even the application is in production, then also we don't know the SLA. So at that time what we have to do is we need to execute the baseline test, and after executing of baseline test, we need to get the results, how the response time was. Clear? Please everyone be on mute. I am getting lot of disturbance. Clear about application is already in production? Okay, so I am moving to your question.
ఒకసారి బేస్ లైన్ అది ఏదో అన్నారు, చెప్పండి ఒకసారి పాయింట్.
బేస్ లైన్ అంటే ఏం లేదండి, జస్ట్ మనకు సర్వీస్ ఎస్ఎల్ఏ అంటే ఎన్ని సెకండ్స్ అనేది క్లయింట్ ఇవ్వడు. మాకు ఇన్ని సెకండ్స్ టార్గెట్ లో ఇన్ని రిక్వెస్ట్లు రావాలి, ఇలాంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏది క్లయింట్ ఇవ్వడు. ఇవ్వనప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తామంటే మనము టెస్ట్ రన్ చేస్తాం. బేస్ లైన్ టెస్ట్ అంటే ఒక తక్కువ యూజర్ లోడ్ తో టెస్ట్ రన్ చేసి చెక్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట, రెస్పాన్స్ టైమ్స్ ఎలా వస్తున్నాయని. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ బేస్ లైన్. We will run a test, simple test with less load, for example 20 users or 30 users, and we can check that particular 30 users is able to handle the load of within the 5 seconds or not, with the response
విద్య
times. Yes,
30 యూజర్స్ అట్లా 10 యూజర్స్ అది మన ఇష్టమా? ఎంత అయినా ఇచ్చుకోవచ్చా?
బేస్ లైన్ అంటే చాలా తక్కువ ఇచ్చి రన్ చేస్తాం అంతే, వాళ్ళు ఏం మనకు చెప్పరు, మన ఇష్టము. మన
Okay.
ఇష్టం అంటే ఎక్కువ ఇవ్వకూడదు లోడ్. బేస్ లైన్ మీన్స్ 30 to 50 యూజర్స్ అంతే.
Oh.
30 to 50 యూజర్స్ ఇచ్చి రన్ చేసి దాన్ని బట్టి మనకు ఒక ఐడియా వస్తుంది. వన్స్ వి గాట్ అన్ ఐడియా, వాట్ వి విల్ డూ ఇస్ వి విల్ రన్ దట్ స్టెప్ టెస్ట్. ఎందుకంటే we also don't know, right, how many users this application will support. So that we need to run the step test and we can give the output to the client, like we ran the step test with 1000 users, so your application is able to support only 500 users and your SLA was 5 seconds. Like that you can conclude with the client. Okay, that is about if the application is already in production. This scenario you have to explain. If the application is not in the production and client doesn't know anything, okay, client doesn't know anything and the application is also not in the production. In this case what we have to do is we are having different network traffic utility tools. Okay, previously this alexa.com was popular network utility tool, but now this alexa.com was destroyed by the team, so that now it was not available. Instead of this alexa.com, in the market we got different tools, network traffic utility tools. By using the tools we need to analyze, like we need to assume. How we need to assume means, for example, if the client give you like my application was e-commerce example, you can say. Okay, so let me show you practically. This is the okay, this I think nowadays this particular as network utility tool was popular in more wherever you can see in YouTube or anywhere. This samrush.com was more popular, and whenever it was open any such web page, there some advertising is getting in about this samrush.com. Okay, this was one of the popular network traffic analyzing tool. For example, our client told, "Oh, my application was e-commerce." Example, you can think. Okay, so my application was e-commerce. Then what you have to do is immediately you can get an idea. Okay, e-commerce means different applications are available in the market. Okay, one is Amazon.com. Okay, and another one is Flipkart.com. Whatever it may be, just you can enter all the particular websites here, and just you can compare. Okay, why you need to compare? These are all called the competitor websites. Okay, e-commerce means definitely we are also one of the competitor to Amazon or Flipkart. We need to assume like that. And in the market, okay, if you can take Flipkart or Amazon, okay, how much data is using, okay, how much data is using, or how many users are using this particular what I can say, these type of e-commerce applications. How much demand is there nowadays in the market? So for example, what I have done was I have taken Amazon.com is my new application, I'm thinking. Okay, so like that Amazon e-commerce site, whatever the other sites we have, Flipkart, right? Just I'm comparing that with this. So here you can see Amazon has little less visits, but Flipkart has little more visits. Even you can compare your e-commerce site here. Okay, for example, definitely if a new brand application, whenever it enter into the market, immediately these many number of users will never hits, right? Definitely it will be little less. So just you can assume, I don't want to reach these many Flipkart.com hit users. Just I need at least first time, at least I would like to reach these many users. Okay, so what I'm thinking was, for example, Flipkart has some these many millions and Amazon has some these many millions. Okay, what I will do is just whatever the less number we have, that number of users you can take it and you can convert that into day or hour basis. For example, these particular numbers are whole September month. Okay, whole September month we have gather like 79.3 million users are unique visitors are visiting this particular application. Okay, so like that you can just assume and divide. Okay, what I'm doing is, for example, I'm assuming that 79 million users divided by 30 days. Okay, means in a day 2.6 million views are getting for Flipkart. Okay, again you need to divide it with 24 hours. Okay, what you have to do, 0.1 million means obviously some 10,000 users or something you got it, right? Some 10,079 users. So you need to run the test for 10,000 users. Just like that, you need to give an idea to the client, because he also don't know about performance testing. He also don't know how many users will going to use his application. Clear, or any doubts? Here you can get in detail way, like number of pages. Okay, how many number of pages these particular Amazon or Flipkart will use. And another thing, unique visitors also you can identify here, and how many overall visits. By using these particular traffic analytics tools, you will get an idea at least. Why? Because we also don't know, right, how many number of users will going to
This
use them.
tool is open tool or
Open source, but again, this is also a licensed one. I will share you the link, not at all a problem. But in our organizations, these type of tools is also available. Okay, here if it was a open source, right, that's what it's showing only last month. Okay, whenever it was there in our organization, here we can give like peak 1 month, something like that. Okay, we can get the whole 1 year data, and wherever the peak number of users will use, we can get it from here, and we can design the scenario based on this.
విద్య ఈ టూల్ ఏమని అడగాలి అంటే
ట్రాఫిక్ యూటిలిటీ టూల్.
ఓకే
యా, మామూలుగా అయితే మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే, ఏం లేదు అన్నారు అనుకోండి, అంటే మన ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో మేము అలాంటిది ఏం యూజ్ చేయట్లేదు, మేము ఫ్రీదే యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాం అన్నారు అనుకోండి, మీరు ఇలాంటి టూల్స్ జస్ట్ బ్రౌజర్ లో నేను లింక్ షేర్ చేశాను, జస్ట్ యూ కెన్ ట్రై టు గివ్ ఇట్ అండ్ యూ కెన్ కంపేర్ ఇట్. క్లియర్? ఎనీ డౌట్స్ హియర్?
మార్కెట్ లో ఏ కంపిటీటర్ లేకపోతే ఎలా అండి అప్పుడు?
చెప్తాను. దట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఐ విల్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్. ప్లీజ్ డోంట్ బి అడ్వాన్స్డ్ దాన్ మీ. I will explain step by step. Okay. So if the competitor, yes.
ఇప్పుడు ఇవి ఆల్రెడీ ఉన్నాయి మేడం, డాటా ఉన్నాయి, మేము ఇంకా ప్రొడక్షన్ చేయలేదు, ఎట్లా వస్తుంది డాటా?
అదే చెప్తున్నాను, ప్రొడక్షన్ లో లేదు మనకి, కానీ అది ఈ కామర్స్ అప్లికేషన్ కదా. అంటే మనకు మార్కెట్ లో ఈ కామర్స్ అంటే చాలా వేరే సైట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. ఆ వేరే సైట్స్ కి ఎంతమంది యూజర్స్ వస్తున్నారు అనేది తెలుసుకొని దాని ప్రకారంగా మనం టెస్ట్ రన్ చేస్తాం అన్నమాట. అర్థమైందా తనుజ? ఇప్పుడు నాది వచ్చేసి, సారీ, క్లియర్ తనుజ? ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నాది న్యూ అప్లికేషన్, కానీ నాది ఈ కామర్స్ అంటే ఏంటంటే, నేను ఏదైనా ప్రోడక్ట్ ని సేల్ చేస్తున్నాను, దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఈ కామర్స్. ఓకే, అట్లాంటివే మనకు మార్కెట్ లో ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి అనేది చూసుకుంటాం ఫస్ట్. అమెజాన్, ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్, పోనీ అవి పెద్ద టాప్ బ్రాండెడ్ కదా, అట్లా కాకుండా స్మాల్ చూసుకుందాం. లేదంటే వెవో కార్ట్, కోనా కార్ట్, ఇట్లా చిన్న చిన్న అప్లికేషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా. సో మన అప్లికేషన్ బ్రాండ్ న్యూ, వచ్చిన వెంటనే అంత టాప్ కి వెళ్తది అని మనకు లేనప్పుడు, మనం మీడియం స్కేల్ అప్లికేషన్ చూసుకొని దాన్ని బట్టి కంపేర్ చేసుకుంటాం. దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ద కాంపిటేటివ్ టూల్స్, ఐ మీన్ కాంపిటీటర్స్ ఇన్ ద మార్కెట్ ఫర్ అవర్ domain related, our domain related competitors. Amazon.com, Flipkart.com, all these things, these are all the, I mean, most visited sites, right? You cannot compare that much most visited sites, but at least Kona cart, Vevo cart, these things will be there, right? You can just compare. Those are all the medium scale applications, we can call. These are the very large scale applications, because it will be in worldwide. Okay, here you can also select the country name as well. Actually, this was licensed one. That's the reason I'm unable to click on the India or something. And you can also, here it includes both desktop and mobile devices. Okay, just we need to identify separately also. Mobile devices, how many users going to hit? Desktop devices, how many users going to hit? We can also select these options, and we can also check the audience insights. Okay, you can see like this. At least you can get an idea, right, what is what, all the information. Okay, and traffic journey, how many pages are hitting, going to hits, how many bytes of data is going on. This information we can get it here. Okay, so is our application was brand new, but we have some competitors in the market. Like this we need to analyze. Okay, and I'm coming to the next question. Okay, if the client doesn't know anything about performance testing and he doesn't know about the application, I mean, this he also don't know it is in production or not. I mean, sometimes client don't know it is in production. We need to explain him, because why he don't know means whoever developers or testers, they will release in the production based on our deadlines, right? Definitely based on the client deadlines only we will release products in the market. And sometimes what we will do is we will release in the market and we will do the production testing as well, to see how many users are logging into the application. Production test, performance test also we will do. So that will comes again in the another topic, like depth topic. I will explain that later. Production performance testing means they will run the tests live users, with live users. Another thing is there is no competitor in the market and application not in the production and client doesn't know about performance testing. So if in interview you will get that type of question, what we have to do is we need to understand the application. Okay, from the developer, like whoever implemented that particular feature, we need to understand what is this exactly, what it happens, so that we will get estimated idea, right? At least, is this a online, is this a core business, I mean core business, or I mean this application was core business or it was converted to online business. Core business means, as you all know that, right? Supermarkets in different Reliance Fashion something, they were using the software to calculate that particular product amount, all the things, that is called the core business. Those related things was not at all there in the website, right? That is the core business. And online business means whatever the feature or that software was implemented, that will be go to live and it will be used by every end user. That is called the online business thing. And we can identify, if it was a core business, then definitely the users was less, right? For example, you can take Vijeta. So whoever buying the products in that particular Vijeta, they only use that particular software, like while entering all the price information, those related details. Okay, that is the core business. So in the core business, definitely the number of users and number of transactions, everything was less, because only that particular area will be used. But in the website, what will happen is more number of users, we don't know how many will hit that application. If it was very flexible, then definitely like Flipkart or like Amazon, everyone will use that application, right? Based on the speed, flexibility, scalability, based on the products efficiency and accurate delivery also customer will see, right? Based on the customer satisfaction, all the things will be increased. So we need to assume, if it was a core application, definitely the users was less. Yes.
విద్య కోర్ అంటే ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మోర్ అది తీసుకోవచ్చా
మోర్
కోర్
తీసుకోవచ్చు. మోర్, బాలాజీ ఫ్రెష్, రిలయన్స్ ట్రెండ్స్, ఏదైనా చిన్న చిన్న షాపింగ్ మాల్కి వెళ్తాం కదా, వాళ్ళ వరకే ఆ పర్టికులర్ సాఫ్ట్వేర్ వాడతారు. వరల్డ్ వైడ్ ఎవరు వాడరు. అంటే వెబ్ లో, యా, వెబ్ అంటే ఏంటంటే ఎనీ వన్ కెన్ యూజ్, లైక్ ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్ ఆర్ అమెజాన్. సో
ఇప్పుడు ఇక్కడ
బేస్డ్
ఒక ఆర్గనైజేషన్ లో ఎంప్లాయీస్ వాడేదాన్ని కోర్.
తీసుకోవచ్చు. యా we can call it as a core business. Banking also, because different bankings ఉంటాయి and different banking కి different applications ఉంటాయి. Definitely that is called the core business only. Banking లో కూడా వరల్డ్ వైడ్ ఉంటుంది, కోర్ రెండు ఉంటాయి. ఓకే, వరల్డ్ వైడ్ అంటే ఏంటంటే మనకి, ఐ మీన్ కస్టమర్ నెట్ బ్యాంకింగ్ ఒకటి ఉంటుంది, ఫండ్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ఎవరిది వాళ్ళకి ఇస్తారు. బట్ కోర్ అంటే ఏంటంటే వెన్ ఎవర్ వి గో టు దట్ బ్యాంక్, ఓకే, హూ ఎవర్ అప్లై ద లోన్, they only get the loan, right? So that is another core. we don't know, the customer don't know that core application, what they are using, all the loans list, everything, every information. Like that, we need to assume number of users based on the core application or business application. And we have to assume that, okay, this, for example, I'm thinking like my project was some library example, I can say. Okay, library, it was in different libraries we have, right? It was in school, it was in college. Based on that, for example, you can take it was in college library. Definitely immediately what you will get an idea. Okay, oh, how many number of students are there in the college? First, you will get an idea, right? And second thing, number of books. If books was 3,000, even the college students was 10,000, the books was less, they won't distribute to all other students, right? Definitely, the users was 3,000, not more than 3,000. Like that, we need to assume based on the application. Okay, this application will support only 3,000, like that. You need to assume. And another thing was, there is no SLAs for this. We have to run the baseline test. As I said, right? Baseline means just you need to run the test with less load. For example, 30 or 40, you can run the test and you can see the response times, how the page response times was. It was in 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Immediately you can get to know that, for example, few applications, even 20 users used also, you will get more response times. Then we need to analyze why this is happening with the 20 users, why response times was 10 seconds, 20 seconds, like that. You need to analyze that. Okay, those all the things in coming classes we can cover in little deeper level. So
విద్య?
yes.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఏం
Uh,
చేస్తా అంటే తనకి క్లయింట్ కి ఏం తెలీదు సో మనకే చేయమంటారు. మ్యాండేటరీ ఏ టెస్ట్ చేయాలి? బేస్
మనం
లైన్
చేసే
టెస్ట్
టెస్ట్
చేస్తాము.
ఫస్ట్
తర్వాత
బేస్ లైన్ తర్వాత లోడ్ టెస్ట్ చేస్తాము. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ భవాని, మీరు 30 యూజర్స్ ఆర్ 40 యూజర్ టెస్ట్ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూటెడ్. ఓకే, you got results like 1 second, 0.2 seconds, like that you got results, and response times also you good. Okay, what you will do next? Definitely you can increase the load, right? Doubling the load, 50 to 100. ఎందుకంటే 50 యూజర్స్ చేస్తేనే మనకు 0లు 1 సెకండ్స్ వచ్చాయి. 100 చేస్తే మాక్సిమం 2 3 అంతకన్నా రాదు అన్న థాట్ వచ్చేస్తుంది. దెన్ వీల్ గో విత్ లోడ్ టెస్ట్ చేసినాక కూడా మనకి ఇంకా రెస్పాన్స్ టైం తక్కువ ఉంది, మంచిగా ఉంది అనిపించింది అనుకో, వి కెన్ గో విత్ స్టెప్ టెస్ట్. ఓకే, యా,
ఈ 3 టెస్ట్ మ్యాండేటరీ.
మ్యాండేటరీ. సో ఇన్ కేస్ ఫీచర్స్ ఎక్కువ ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, ఇఫ్ యువర్ అప్లికేషన్ ఈ హ్యావింగ్ మోర్ ఫీచర్స్, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫండ్ ట్రాన్స్ఫర్ ఒకటి, యాడింగ్ బెనిఫిషియరీ, తర్వాత ఎన్ఈఎఫ్టి, తర్వాత ఐఎంపిఎస్, ఆర్జిటిఎస్, రీఛార్జింగ్, ఆఫర్స్, కార్ లోన్స్, డిఫరెంట్ ఇట్లా ఎగ్జాంపుల్ యూ కెన్ అజ్యూమ్. ఇలా యూ హ్యావ్ 20 ఫీచర్స్. ఓకే, డెఫినెట్లీ application was same, the features was different, right? At that time, definitely we don't know how many number of users will do different feature actions.
Yes.
Different features action. At that time, we can consider we need to run the capacity test. Okay, if different features, different number of users will use this application, how was the behavior?
ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఫ్లిప్‌కార్ట్ లైక్
అంతే. అంతేగా, ఇప్పుడు అందరూ మొబైలే కొనాలని రూల్ లేదు. దే విల్ బై కిచెన్ ఐటెమ్, దే విల్ బై ఫ్యాషన్, దే విల్ బై డిఫరెంట్ ఐటమ్స్. ఎట్ ఎ టైమ్ ఆల్ ద థింగ్స్ వాస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ thing we need to analyze. Any doubts here before going to next step? Okay. So our next topic was test strategy or test plan. I'm going to next topic, so please let me know if you have any doubts in NFR. NFR, test strategy or test plan, workload model was very important part. Nowadays they are not looking for experience. Okay, they are asking everyone, even 2 years 1 year experience people also, they are asking to create a non-functional requirement document, test strategy, test plan document, everything, workload model also they are asking us to create it. Okay, and the next topic was test strategy and test plan. Okay, so
హలో, సారీ
yes,
ఫర్ ఇంటరప్షన్.
yeah.
క్వశ్చనరీ అనే ఒక డాక్యుమెంట్ కూడా ఉంటుందని, అంటే మనకి ఇప్పుడు ఎప్పుడైతే క్లయింట్కి లేదా క్వశ్చనరీ డాక్యుమెంట్ అన్న అలానే మనం ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తామా అండి మనం?
క్వశ్చనైర్స్ అనేవి మనము పిఓసి అప్పుడే అడిగేస్తామండి. ఆల్మోస్ట్ అన్ని ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వైల్ డూయింగ్ పిఓసి ఇట్ సెల్ఫ్ వీ కెన్ గెట్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద థింగ్స్ వి నీడ్. ఈవెన్ మొత్తం క్వశ్చనైర్స్ అన్ని కూడా పిఓసి అప్పుడే అయిపోతుంది. ఫస్ట్ మనకు మేనేజర్ వచ్చి చెప్తాడు, సో మనకి పిఓసి చేయాలి మన ప్రాజెక్ట్ కి, సో వీఆర్ హ్యావింగ్ క్లయింట్ కాల్ అంటాడు. అలాంటప్పుడు వీ నీడ్ టు జాయిన్ ఇన్ ద కాల్ అండ్ వాట్ ఎవర్ ద ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వీ నీడ్ వీ కెన్ గెట్ యాజ్ మచ్ యాజ్ వీ కెన్. ఈవెన్ వీ కెన్ ఆస్క్ ద బిజినెస్ క్రిటికల్ సినారియోస్ ఆల్సో ఇఫ్ ద క్లయింట్ నోస్ ఎనీథింగ్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ దట్ particular product already in the production.
ఓకే.
Yeah, if it was a new brand, as I said, again we need to decide by ourselves. Even client
Okay.
also don't know. Yeah, all the questionnaires will be happen in the time of POC itself. Even if we miss anything in the time of POC, again we need to set up another call with client about NFR. Okay, and another point I missed to explain you. Once the NFR document was done, okay, preparation of non-functional requirement documentation was done. Next, what we need to do is we need to set up a call with client. Okay, in NFR document, what we have done, we need to identify the business critical scenarios, number of users, number of transaction, what test type of tests we are going to do. All this information we will gather, right? So again we need to set up a call with client and we need to confirm, like we are going to create a scripts or we are going to preparing a test plan. Okay, when how many days it will take for creating the scripts, all those things we can consider as a test plan or test strategy document. I will explain in next steps. Okay, so all the information we have gathered. Okay, these many scripts we have and these many number of users we gathered your application is using in the peak time. We identified that this much number of users are using, this many number of transactions are getting. All the information we need to check, explain with the client, and we need to again get confirmation from the client. Yes, they will also verify again they are getting the correct production numbers or not, they are using the correct user load or not. If they would like to include any changes or if they would like to add any things, he will let us know in the time of call. Okay, after NFR gathering.
Yeah,
Once,
perfect. Got
yeah, once the client confirms, yes, these are fine, these scripts are fine, everything was fine, you can go ahead and share the test plan. At that time, we will start preparing the test plan or test strategy based on the organizations again. So test plan and test strategy and both are same. There is not much difference. But when test plan will do is, test plan anedi like project level. Simply. Project level means, for example, we got a new project. Okay. So I would like to prepare a test plan after my NFR gathering. So I need to prepare only for that particular project. That is called the test plan. Each and every project, the test plan will be changed. Okay, so if your team lead or if your manager will ask you to prepare a test plan, means you have to think that okay, this test plan means okay, this is a project level document you can consider. If your manager or if your project manager will ask you to prepare a test strategy document. You need to consider is it as a like, okay, this was a organization level document. Organization level means all the teams, whatever it may be, like functional testers, manual testers, automation testers, any other security testers, whatever the teams we have in the whole organization will follow the same document. Okay, that is the test strategy document. And another main difference was, like in test plan document, we need to define the scope. What is the scope? I mean, how many number of scripts we are going to execute, all this information. Okay, what is the objective of this particular test plan? Okay, so these many number of days we need to execute, or we need to provide the results to the client. Those things, approaches, is there any testing efforts, all the things we will provide in the test plan document. But in test strategy, it was like organization level, right? So it will follow only single document with all the other teams as well and other projects as well. It explains like how testing needs to be done, like how what is the process to complete this particular testing. It will follows that, like that. In this there is no like scope, object, approach, all these elements will not included in the test strategy, because it was organization level, right? It will follow one format. And another thing, the components is like, in this test plan document we have the project must and should have like test plan id, and what are the features we are going to test it, and is there any techniques we are going to use, and how many number of tasks we have, and how many features are there, and how many in scope scenarios, out scope scenarios, and how in how many days we need to deliver this particular project, and what is our responsibilities. All the information like scheduling, and what is the entry criteria, exit criteria, pass criteria, fail scripts. I mean, pass criteria, fail means like passed scripts, failed scripts, we can say. All these things we can include in the test plan. But in test document, just we need to follow the mm, documentation format. That's it. Whatever the document, they will be provided by the organization, we should follow the same, like reporting which team we are going to report, and is there client communication, is there way, which client, I mean which particular project and which particular client we need to communicate. Those information we need to enter into the test strategy. And another third main important point was, this test plan, okay, will be carried out by manager or the lead. Okay, manager or the lead will be take care of this particular test plan, what we have to test and when we have to test, all these things. Okay, but the test strategy will be carried out by project manager, who is going to handle that particular project. Project manager means, under project manager, developers, testers, automation testers, functional testers, all the different type of team will involve here. Okay, so that is the main difference between test plan and the test strategy. This is also one of the most important question, the difference between test, when you are going to prepare test plan and when you are going to prepare test strategy. And another thing was, in this test plan we need to provide all the specifications, like cpu we are using this much, memory this much, like those information. But in test strategy, like general approaches, it is not complete mandatory these things, just we will provide the general. We are using we have cpu this much available, those things, whatever we have, we information we have about this particular specification information, we need to include it here. Definitely the test plan will be changed based on the scripts. Like for example, during the time of poc or something, we have identified some 10 scripts. Okay, out of 10 scripts, in daily basis client call, client meetings, they will said, right, so we don't want this, we have made it some changes, so please exclude this particular script. At that time the test plan will change it. Okay, but the test strategy once you define, you should follow that, and we cannot change the test strategy. That is the another main important point here. And once the test plan will done, okay, we need to determine like what type of issues, what type of dependencies we have. For example, as I said right yesterday, we have a discussion fund transfer we have. In fund transfer, definitely without adding beneficiary, we cannot transfer the fund to particular person or a beneficiary. So that is the one of the dependency. Okay, those type of thing we can determine, like possibilities and issues, all the things we can determine. But is in test strategy, it will be like long term plan action, right? So is there any information that is non project specific, and we can just keep it like a approach. We cannot include these type of strong points in the test strategy. Just we can keep it like approach, that's it. Is there any issues or is there any dependencies we have, just if we identified in middle in the test strategy, just we can include it like approaches. We cannot consider it as a like test plan determination. And test plan will be exist as a independently, I mean individually, because each and every project, right, different project, different test plan based on the requirement we will prepare. But test strategy means definitely in smaller project, even the test strategy will, it's like a test, one section in the test plan if it was a small project. If it was a big project, then the test strategy will work out. But if it was a small project, this is simple part in the test plan. So that is the main differences. As I said, like the main thing was test plan will be done by project level, and the test strategy will be done by like multiple projects or the organization level, we can call it as.
For every project, they will have only the test plan or test strategy. They'll don't have that both, na?
No, don't have both. Anyone in test plan, if the test plan you have, you do not have any test strategy. If you have test strategy, there is no test plan. You have to think that okay, if your manager asks you to prepare a test strategy, then you can think that okay, this is a organization level, okay, this company is following organization structure, that's what they ask us to prepare a test strategy. If it was a test plan, but you have to think okay, this was a project level plan. But the main advantage of using test plan was, if anything in between while we are testing, or if we can change it and we can add the few points here in test plan, because our lead and we can discuss with manager. Every time we cannot go to project manager and we cannot discuss it with him, right? That is the another main, I mean, I cannot say this is a drawback, but compared to test strategy, test plan was good.
At what scenario they will go for the test scenario, test strategy and
For
test plan?
example, we can consider Flipkart is the application. Okay, this was very big application, right? So for that Flipkart application in our company, okay, we have developers, testers, and different teams: security testing, UAT testing, IAT testing team, dev team, production team. All the different teams will be there, right? So the organization will decide, okay, why we need to prepare each and every team separate particular document. We can go ahead and we can prepare the test strategy for all the teams single document. The document format will be same, but the work they are doing was different, that's it.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, single application testing will be done by whole team in the same organization. This will follows. So test plan means the project will be developed in somewhere and we are going to test it. At that situation, we will consider the test plan. Any other questions and doubts? I would like to explain more detail about the test plan. What are the elements we need to include in the test plan and test strategy tomorrow? Okay.
అండ్ విద్య
Yes.
ఇండెక్స్ కూడా ప్లాన్ అంటే మ్యాండేటరీ అంటే శాంపుల్ డాక్యుమెంట్ ఏదైనా
Yeah, I
test
have
plan లో
sample. I have
అంటే
sample document. I will show you. Test strategy and test plan both I have. I will show you. What are the elements we need to include in the test strategy and what are the elements we need to include in the test plan. I will show you with the real time document. Okay. tomorrow. And once I cover those two things, I will give you a basic idea about workload model, because again this workload model will comes before executing our test executions. So at that time I will cover the workload model in detail, like pacing calculations, number of user calculations, and transaction response time calculations. So for now, I will explain basic thing about this workload model. Okay, tomorrow I will complete this test strategy and workload model document, and after that I will show you how to install all the softwares, and then we can start actual part, like how to recording the script, all the things.
విద్య అండ్ వన్ థింగ్, అంటే ఇప్పుడు టెస్ట్ ప్లాన్ చేస్తూనే మనం స్క్రిప్ట్ కూడా సినారియోస్ తీసుకొని స్క్రిప్ట్స్ చేయొచ్చా అట్ ఏ టైం?
అవును.
హలో,
Yeah, Bhavani. Yes, once test plan were done, we will start creating the scripts. Am I audible, Bhavani?
ఎస్ విద్య.
Okay. Because in test plan only we can finally concluded these much scripts we are going to create a scripts. Because after NFR we have call with client, right? He will also give a confirmation. Okay, go ahead and start creating scripts. So finally we will prepare the like traversal flow document. So tomorrow class I will explain that as well. What is traversal flow document and how to prepare that.